I think we should get a divorce.
Okay.
Okay?
What do you want me to say, Claire? You're right.
I wanted you to say no.
My wife asked for a divorce on our 10th anniversary. I said yes. And that's when our marriage actually began. 10 years,
I think we should
a
get a divorce.
decade of marriage. And on the morning of our anniversary, my wife, Claire, sat across from me at breakfast and said, "I think we should get a divorce." No anger, no tears, just exhaustion. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just nodded. Because deep down, I knew she was right. We weren't fighting. We weren't cheating. We were just roommates, co-parents, two people going through the motions. We hadn't had a real conversation in months. We hadn't laughed together in longer. We slept in the same bed, but lived in different worlds. So I said, "Okay." Her eyes widened. I think she expected me to fight for us. But I was tired too. We agreed to tell the kids after the weekend. We agreed to stay civil. We agreed it was over. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the day we got married, how she looked at me, how I promised to love her for the rest of my life. And I realized something painful. I'd broken that promise. Not by cheating, not by leaving, but by stopping. I stopped trying. I stopped asking about her day. I stopped noticing when she changed her hair. I stopped caring if she was happy, as long as she wasn't complaining. I got comfortable, and comfort killed us. The next morning, I told her I wanted to take her out. One last time. Not as a married couple, just as two people who used to mean something to each other. She hesitated, then agreed. We went to the same restaurant where I proposed. We sat in awkward silence at first. Then I asked her a question I hadn't asked in years. "What's something you've been feeling that you haven't told me?" She looked surprised. Then she answered. Really answered. She told me how invisible she felt, how she'd been struggling with her job, her body, her purpose, and I never noticed. How she used to wait for me to ask, and eventually just stopped waiting. I listened, really listened, and then I shared too. I told her how I felt like a failure, how I thought being a provider was enough, how I was scared I wasn't the man she fell in love with anymore. We talked for hours. We cried. We laughed at old memories. And somewhere in that conversation, something shifted. We weren't fixed, but we were present. On the drive home, she said, "I don't want a divorce. I want a reset." I looked at her. "What does that look like?" She said, "It looks like we start over, like we date again, like we fight for this, instead of just letting it die quietly." So we did. We started weekly date nights. We went to therapy. We asked each other hard questions. We rebuilt from the ground up. It wasn't easy. Some days, it still isn't. But we're not roommates anymore. Our marriage didn't survive because we were perfect. It survived because we were willing to start again. Comfort is the silent killer of marriage. Just because you're not fighting doesn't mean you're okay. It's never too late to start over, as long as both people are willing to try. Love is a choice you make every day, and some days, the most important choice is simply to stay and fight.